Welcome to episode 4 of live.co.uk. In this season 4, we're looking at some Python skills for GCSE computer scientists who want some help with some of the harder questions of the Edexcel Python on-screen paper 2 test. And over the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at a mini-series where we're trying to load some data in from a text file. We want to display it using string formatting, and then we want to visualize it using turtle graphics to create a pie chart. So in the first week we did some decomposition so that we broke the program down into procedures and functions, and then we put all of the data into a two-dimensional data structure which didn't actually load from the file yet. That's what we want to focus on today. Last week we did some string formatting, displaying it as a table. This week we're going to not hard code the data into a two-dimensional list, but we want to load that data from the text file itself. And then finally next week we've got one more procedure to do, which is drawing a pie chart. So we'll start where we left off last time. We want a two-dimensional list, a list of lists, and we need to get that from the text file. So first of all, we had better open the file. We have a file name parameter, so let's open that file name and store that as a file object, which means we need to remember to close that file so that it frees up the resources and other people can use it later on. Once we've opened it, we can read all of the data, and that returns a string which will contain the whole contents of this file. So one big long string containing all of the data, and then we want to split it up. So where did we get to? Can't see the procedure. Here we go, load file, that's the one. Let's put some comments in to explain what's happening. Open the file and read the contents into a string. Edexcel seems to like camel case rather than snake case. Once we've got the file contents, we can split it. File contents dot split, and we need to specify how we're going to split it. I would like to split it every time we have a new line, so that we can read each line separately. As in, we'll have a list. That will be the first item in the list, first line. That will be the second item in the list, and that will be the third item in the list. So this will give us a one-dimensional list, and we'll call it lines because it stores all of the lines separately. Split the data up. So if we have each line separately, we can now iterate through them. So for line, singular, individual line, in our list of lines, plural, lots of them, we can split each individual line. This time we're not going to split it when we have a new line, we've already done that. We're going to split it every time we have a comma, because remember we're reading from a comma separated value file. All of the values are separated by commas. This will give us another one-dimensional list, and I'll call that parts. So we can access each of those. Well, they contain the name of the pie and how many of each of those pies we have. So let's see, name is going to be parts 0, and quantity is going to be parts 1. Remember, list indexing starts from 0, so this is going to be the first value on the line of a file, and this is going to be the second value on each line of a file. Once we've got each of these, we can store them in a list. So let's make an empty list here. And let's see, there we go. We'll store it into a variable, a local variable called data. And we should be able to add it in. Let's see, data.append, that's going to add into this one-dimensional list another list. So we're adding a list to a list, so we end up with a two-dimensional list. We want to add in the name and the quantity. We have to be careful here. As we're reading from a file, even though the quantity is a number, when we extract it from here, it's going to be the string representation of a number, as in something like that, instead of the actual number itself. So we should probably convert it to an integer first so that we can store it properly. Okay, oops, I've done this wrong. This should be file.close, not close and then file. Let's try that. Okay, so now we didn't hard code this in, but it should now read all of the data in. So we'll know if we've done it correctly, because if we add in an extra pi here, let's say we're going to have a cheese pie and 100 of them. Oops, we can't run a CSV file. There we go, it's loaded that data from a file, it's added it all in, it's processed all of that data. The final step of the puzzle is just to visualize that using a pie chart, and that's what we'll do next time.